Cole, what's your biggest takeaway from the offensive performance when you went back through it? And obviously, it's not the most explosive day you guys have ever had. A lot of things that were efficient.
Oh, yeah, I thought a lot of good violence on tape up front, so I thought that was really good to see. Obviously, things that we just need to get cleaned up pre-snap wise. And if we want to stay efficient and stay ahead of the chains in that regard, but a lot of good things I thought with violence on tape up front, and that showed with some of the explosive in the run game, and then being able to get that that first down in that 4-minute scenario before we punted it back. Those are big. Those are tough scenarios. You're really not getting favorable looks in the run game, and you kind of have to make it work. And I thought we did a good job there. And then when you look situationally, I thought it's really starting at the end of the half where they missed that field goal, and then we respond with getting 3 points there to go up 4. That's huge. And then really from there, just playing really good football from there on out. So all that stuff was really good.
Well, after the game, Jaquan Brisker said that he knew you guys were going to have a good day on the ground because of how physical you were in practice. Did you have a sense of, that it would be better improved last time?
Yeah, I thought it was just good details, not even just in practice, but in the walkthrough in terms of how we were detailing up our walkthrough, making it a little more game-like in that regard, and not easy to do necessarily in a walkthrough, but getting our fits correct so the backs could see, where the ball should be hitting, and all those are good mental reps to have, and I think that's kind of what played into the success on Sunday.
Well, what do you make of the false start issues overall?
Yeah, I think that's just a thing we got to get fixed as a offense in totality. Between obviously communicating up front, being dialed into the certain play calls that we have with certain cadences, and just everyone being on the same page there. So, look, there's still growing pains, and that wasn't perfect the other day. And those are things that we got to get fixed up, but definitely an all 11 thing there for sure.
Cool. On the touchdown to Swift, we see you kind of celebrating with the fist pump. Block the DM. What was that like seeing when you see?
Yeah, it was great. When you see a guy with the breakaway speed like that, and I made the cut block, and he was able to just kind of jump over him a little bit as he was falling down, and then I just saw the seize part and him take off. You knew he was gone. So. DeAndre's got good home run speed there, so that was good to see.
What was most notable to you about the play before the little shot that Caleb?
Yeah, just a true NFL throw and catch right there. They step up just enough for him to get the ball over, and that's considered open in this league, and a play that you got to make, and he made it, and it's really cool to see that type of throw. The throw to DJ was really awesome, and. Just all day he was super efficient, did a really good job of taking care of the football, and when you do that and you got our defense playing the way they're playing, our team's using it playing the way they're playing, it plays in well to our team, and you're going to win a lot of football games if we keep doing that.
I was going to tell you about his recognition of NFL Open.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's great, and I think he's gotten better and better at that as really since the start of training camp, and. Him recognize, I think he's seeing things quicker now. He's always done a good job at diagnosing the defense, but I think, at first it maybe took him a few extra seconds to really see what was happening. I think he's seeing it a little bit quicker now, recognizing that stuff. He has a good understanding of, he knows what he's doing. Like the throw to DJ, they got a safety and he looks to the left to kind of keep the safety tucked over to the left for a little bit, knowing that DJ is one-on-one with a linebacker. And, he knows that matchup and you're going to take that all day. So he did a really good job there with that. And, I think he's done what I've been impressed with, all the great stuff that he's done, obviously in college, and all the crazy plays I'm sure he made throughout his college career. He's doing a good job of just kind of taking what the defense was giving him the other day, and to do that in your fourth game is really, really impressive.
Cole, the overall numbers were kind of modest, but there were still obvious signs of improvement from the week before. What did you see out of that game that you think is most sustainable, that it wasn't just opponent specific?
Yeah, well, I think the efficiency in terms of and our ability to take care of the football. That's number one, and that's number one for us. And Coach talks about that. Obviously, with the defensive coach, that we're always going to harp on the turnovers, and we're definitely going to create some defensively. And our ability to protect the football is what's going to. It's going to be something that we have to be able to carry over week in and week out. And if we're able to do that, we're going to win a lot of football games.
What did you think of your punter?
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's fun to watch. I haven't telling guys, it's fun to watch at practice. So it was cool to, we don't want to be in a ton of punting scenarios, but when you got somebody like that where again, where we know at the kind of in that 4-minute scenario, we get one first down, we're in a good spot there, and we're able to get them to knock down some of those timeouts, and Torrey takes care of the rest. It's very hard for an offense to go, 92, 90, whatever, however many yards that was at the end of the game like that with no timeouts. And it allows the defense to really play really aggressive in those type of scenarios. So, yeah, he's a hell of a punter, man. Hell of a punter.
Well, with regard to being, trying not to lose the football and taking care of the ball.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between teams that do that and are too careful and teams that do that and still have opportunities for big plays? Is there any kind of difference?
Like you're saying, not like the fine line of being too conservative and also aggressive. Yeah.
Too focused on not losing the ball, and then you lose that aggressive.
Sure.
Is there a propensity or a chance for this offense with this quarterback to still make those?
Yeah, I think that's honestly what separates the great teams from the good teams in this league, and the great quarterbacks from the good quarterbacks is having that awareness to know when's the right time to be to take what the defense is taking you per se, and then also have that element of knowing when to be aggressive and rip the ball downfield. And I thought he did that the other day, honestly. And however it shows up on the stat sheet, it shows up, but to have that discernment of knowing when to make a play and kind of when to, do the right thing with the football in your hands, that's what's going to lead to continued success. And I think that's a thing that Caleb's continuing to figure out. And I mean, it's only week 4, and I thought that was just a super high level, efficient quarterback play he played the other day. And I mean, he's going to have opportunities to rip the ball downfield as the run game gets going and as we develop that more and more. But I think it's having that discernment of wanting to know to be aggressive, but also playing to what the defense is giving you. And if they're going to give you first downs, you won't go broke taking a profit doing that type of stuff.
A little reunion with Andy Dalton coming up this Sunday. What was your signature memory of your time with Andy?
I love Andy. Andy, I think he's a great quarterback. I know he's always believed in himself as one of the top 32 guys in this league, that he should be a starter in this league, and he's showing that right now in Carolina. So obviously a very veteran quarterback, a guy that knows what he's doing, can get the ball out quickly, has a good knowledge of defenses, and so he's seen a lot in his day, and it'll be a good challenge for us. This is now they're a team that's kind of up and rising since he's taken over, and it'll be a good challenge for our defense. But watching them from afar so far, definitely happy for Andy and what he's been able to do for the past couple of weeks.
There was a stretch, it was 4 straight drives. It was touchdown, field goal, touchdown, touchdown.
Yeah.
As you went back and watched that tape, is there something within that stretch where you felt like that's something that we can keep doing, or that's why we were able to be so good during that period?
Yeah, well, I think we were playing efficiently. We were doing well on second down there. I mean, you got to give credit to our defense for the spark there on that first one, the first touchdown. That kind of it gets you going as an offense when you can get an easy score like that, and you're already in the red area. So that was really good stuff. And I just think when you're able to pair, when we had the run game the way we were doing it for the most part, and then you can pair explosive plays back to back. You had the seam down to me, and then right after that, the big play to Swift. Those are back-breaking plays to defenses, and in those type of games that can really be a separator and a big momentum shifter. So whenever you can compound on explosive plays, I think that's a good point where you want to be in the offense for sure.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
How do you describe it? I mean, just really, I guess, competing for somebody to make that play. So, I mean, before we all go out, everybody kind of says that I'm going to get a pick, I'm going to get a pick, I'm going to get a pick, or the D-line, we're going to get a strip sack. So, kind of just competing all the time, just who's going to make that it play. So, I mean, it was almost DT. He almost got there, but for him, he's able to impact the throw, and Jaquan was able to get the pick. So, just competing all the time to really go out in those moments and make a play.
How do you describe the juice that gives you guys as a unit after 2 games of not having a lead to finally get a lead and be able to have that closer mentality?
I mean, for us, that's what we want, just for us to put the game on our own shoulders to go out there and win the game for us. So we just look forward to it. I mean, even in the previous weeks, us finding a way to try to win the game. If it was pick 6, I know Kyler hate to say it, but he had opportunity to go change the game. So just different little things like that. We always trying to find ways to impact the game and to go win the game, not just when we're up, but also when we're down. Somebody, I mean, for us, we can defend and score points. So we're always trying to find ways to win the game best we can.
Does it feel different when you're up though?
Hell yeah. I mean, the mentality is a lot different. Situations different. I mean, their 2-minute drill versus a 4-minute drill is a little different. So the plays that they call, they have to go score, so they got to put the ball in the air versus them being up and they can just run the ball and situationally find plays. So it definitely changes the game schematically for us to be able to go out there and try to make certain plays.
Can you imagine that's the same for your own quarterback too, is playing with the lead's a little different than having to chase points?
100%. I mean, like I said, the style of play is different. When you're down, you have to put the ball in there. You got to try to get chunk plays, explosive plays to score quickly and then get the ball back. So I mean, just for them, it's the same thing. Being able to have that lead, being able to run the ball a little more, be a little more aggressive in the run game. Try to get that going when you're up. So I mean, it definitely changes everything.
You always have high expectations for yourself and for this group. Has anything that surprised you about how good you guys have been first 4 weeks?
Nah, honestly, we haven't been good enough. Quite honestly, I feel like we definitely haven't taken away the explosive plays that we want to. We definitely let some of those go. We definitely have got hit in some of our runs, just not being disciplined, not being where we're supposed to be consistently. I mean, things like that are going to happen, but for us in our stand, we definitely haven't, I don't think, even scratched the surface for what we know we can do. Because we're shooting ourselves in the foot. It's not like guys are just making, the offense is just making one-on-one touches or anything like that. It's just simply us missing a gap and trying to do too much, or guys not fitting, cracking, and placing fast enough, things like that. So those are all things we can fix, so we can be really even better.
What was the point of emphasis then this morning on some of those plays over the middle of the field that they were able to hit yesterday?
Really, I think just getting in our drops. 'Cause I mean, it's crazy because we do it so well in practicing. We kind of get to the game and kind of start seeing a little bit too much. So we're just getting the gaps. We know coming against that team, they like throwing the ball between the numbers, between the hashes. So definitely not being where we're supposed to be. I feel like as far as our drops, not getting good enough depth, getting really just closing those windows if it's us on the outside or whatever the case may be. So just finding ways to take away what we know teams are going to try to hit us with.
And with that said, what do you, now that it's been 4 games, what do you like about this defense that you know is better than it was last year?
I mean, we're all together. I think for us last year, still trying to find that identity as a whole. I mean, again, it was Tremaine, TJ first year, so we didn't get Tez till halfway through the season. So I mean, things are definitely different. I feel like we're more of a unit, or I guess energy and everything is just coming together. Again, we had all of last year to build together the second half and then coming in off season and things like that. So we've definitely been able to bond together, adding DT with a good addition as well, being able to bring him in, just continue to build. So I mean, everybody that we have on our side of the ball is definitely gelling together and knows what we're trying to do defensively.
When you mentioned some of the big plays you guys gave up, but you only let them score 1 touchdown on 4
Right.
What does that tell you about the collective resolve of this defense to kind of bend but not break in those key situations?
Yeah, now honestly just playing pissed off in the red zone because we feel like we shouldn't even got there. Really not playing good enough on third down as well. Just wanting and needing to get off the field in those situations where we know after 8, 9, 10 plays where we let them kind of down the field. It's like, man, damn, now if they go score a touchdown, at least hold them to a field goal. So, I mean, that's really just the mentality of not letting them score.
So when the offense is moving, the special teams are working,
Mm-hmm.
how does that sort of vibe or that mindset, how does that help even, make your defense stronger?
I mean, it's really, this league is all about momentum. So, I mean, it starts with offense. It can start with special teams. It can start with defense. But I feel like when you have all 3 levels playing together, playing with that energy, executing, and really execution drives energy, drives confidence. So I think it's really just starting with one unit, executing, passing that energy along to the next unit. They go out there, execute, and then we're really clicking on all cylinders. So, I mean, it just starts with one unit, getting that execution, getting that energy, getting that momentum going, and then hopefully the other units continue that.
It felt like the loss in Indy shook things up a little bit, and maybe in a good way where the leadership group kind of took the ownership last week of saying we're not going to let this thing slide.
Right, no doubt.
How would you describe what went into last week in terms of that part of the equation?
I think really just, from a captain, from a leadership standpoint, I think just being pissed off that we're not being who we know we can be. And I mean, any team can beat any team in this league, but I think for us, that wasn't a game that we could have and should have let go. I think that was definitely a winnable game for us to go out there. But I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't happen for various reasons. So us really just looking everybody in the eye and just having that open communication and not letting it just be swept under the rug. Okay, it's all good. We just gonna work to next week. But at the end of the day, we got to go out here and have a certain standard. So I mean, whether it's coaches, players, whoever it may be, just holding each other to that standard and finding out the best ways to win games.
What do you see in the response of the coaches to your guys' response to that loss?
I think really just owning it, accepting it. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has to own up to the role that they play in our success or our lack of success. So I think just really overall, just kind of resetting, trying to figure out what it is that we can do better and go out there. And we were fortunate enough to get a win this week.
Jaylon, to Dan's point, for Caleb to be 4 games in, 22, and to be part of the leadership group, to come to Shane and say, hey, we need to be better, hold us to account, what does that tell you about how he's kind of developing that leadership role early on?
I think it's big just for his maturity. And I think, too, he knows that he has the keys as well. I think kind of just him being confident, but also the people around him pouring into him and also giving him even more confidence that you are a guy that can speak up. And at the end of the day, he's running the show. So, I mean, if he doesn't have a say, so we have a bigger issue. So I think just really everybody being able to work together, player, coach, and player, I think that's the biggest thing that we want to do. And for him, it's no different. He's a big guy that's a part of our success. So he just has to be able to really communicate with the coach, figure out what it is that he's comfortable with, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and they have to go out there and execute. But I mean, that's everybody, especially, but even more him.
Jaylon, how much pride do you take in your ability to tackle? You and Brisker had a key stop late in the game on 3rd and 7. How much pride do you take in your ability to tackle?
I mean, I just take pride in making plays. I mean, wherever it's at, if it's in the run, in the air, I mean, just being where I'm supposed to be and executing. So, I mean, wherever that is, if it's in the run, pass, setting the edge, whatever it may be. I mean, I just take pride in doing my job the best I can.
From what you know about Andy Dalton, what do you guys have to be on alert for coming up?
The red rifle. That's my guy. I mean, really just savvy. He's been around for a long time since, I mean, that name came from when he was at the Bengals. So, I mean, that was some time ago. So, I mean, he's seen a lot of coverages, seen a lot of blitzes. So, I mean, kind of like Stafford in a way where he's going to be able to pick up some things. So, we got to do a good job disguising. We got to get hits and pressure, make them kind of uncomfortable in the pocket. But also, I mean, like a lot of the quarterbacks that get pressure in their face, they kind of tend to throw some bad throws and make some bad decisions. So for us in the secondary, we got to be where we're supposed to be, and then the front got to get after.
What do you remember about practicing against the Red Rifle?
A few interceptions in practice for sure. But I mean, good arm talent.
Best nickname for a quarterback? Red Rifle.
You got to give me some examples of some names. I don't know too many quarterbacks that got nicknames like that. But the Red Rifle is a good one.
Jaylon, on Brisker's sack yesterday, they had 2nd and 10. You guys Rams called a timeout. Do you remember what the vibe was like on the sideline? And then I think obviously Flus dialed up that pressure.
Right.
What just like the feeling of confidence was leading into that specific play?
Honestly speaking, I don't really remember. I know I don't think that was our original call. So I think kind of just switching it up. Maybe they seen something or were forced to call a timeout. But I think it was a good timing. I don't think I know they weren't anticipating that. But I think it was definitely a good switch up call. We liked it in that situation. We haven't really shown that. So I think it was a good switch up for us.